Welcome back, and it's time to make dinner. So tonight I'm going to make a meal that is called kimchi pork. So first you need some kimchi, and you can get kimchi at the regular grocery store, but we go down to a city close to us that has food from all over the world that they have, and you can buy all different types of stuff. And this particular one is very tasty. Now, the main ingredient is Napa cabbage, radishes, and green onions. There's a whole bunch of other ingredients in it. So if you have allergies, I believe there is shrimp in here. This one does have shrimp. Each one has different ingredients, so make sure you read the label first. And let's get started. So I'm going to, as I said, make the pork. I'm going to make pork one. And I have some pork that I bought that's boneless. So any type of boneless pork will do. They just happen to have this one on sale, so I grabbed a couple packages. And I'm basically making the same amount of pork to kimchi ratio. So I'm going to cut off most of the fat on the pork. I'm going to leave a little bit on just because it kind of cooks up better if you leave a little on. And I'm just going to, I'll show you in like bite-sized pieces. And your bite sizes might be bigger than my bite sizes. So I'll just show you a few. Hope everybody's having a good day. And here is the size I'm going to do. So I'm going to continue to cut up the pork, and then we'll check back in just a few. Okay, so I have this much amount of pork, and this is a container that I've used and for almost all my meals. I make sure this is how much meat or shrimp or whatever I'm cooking, about that much is what I need for my family. So if you have a bowl that you use for the amount, that's great. And then the amount of kimchi is almost like the same amount of pork. It's very close as far as, this was like a couple pounds. This is close to a couple pounds. And then I cut up one big onion. And then I'm going to put some minced garlic, and I'll do that over at the stove. And I'm just going to use the pre-done minced garlic to save time. So let's go to the stove and start cooking. Okay, so I have a large saucepan here. I'm going to heat it up, and I'm going to actually cook my pork in here. It has a large surface area, so I'm going to cook my pork and my onions in here. And then I'm going to add my kimchi and do everything just in the one pot. If you don't have a large pot, you might have to do this in a frying pan and then put it in, you know, if you have like a tall skinny one, that's fine. But you definitely need like a big saucepan. So today I'm going to use peanut oil. If you don't have peanut oil, you can substitute and use a different type of oil if you'd like. Let that start heating up. I'm going to get out a long spoon. Now I'm going to serve this over jasmine rice, and I'm going to make a separate video on the jasmine rice because in the past I've always done my videos that have rice. I show you how to make the rice on the same video, but I thought it might be nice to have a standalone video on the rice in case you're making rice with a different meal. You can watch a shorter video on just rice. I'm just gonna make sure this oil goes all the way around here. Once it starts smoking pretty quick, it's going to be ready here. Just a few. And I have my onions nearby and my garlic. I'm at the end of this garlic, so I'm just going to pour this all in. And it's time to add the garlic. Okay, time to add the pork. That was a little bit louder than I thought it was going to be. It all just clumps together. So we're going to want to brown this. We'll just start with just the pork by itself. stir it. Kind of keep a close eye on it. Everybody's stove cooks at a different rate of speed, so you just have to kind of keep an eye on things. Okay, so currently I have it on high, but I'm probably going to reduce the heat in just a few, just so it doesn't burn. Although I find that a lot of times the pork has a lot of moisture in it, and then I end up having to scoot all the meat over and let some of the juices cook off. So I might just leave it on high. We'll see how it goes. I'm just going to keep on stirring, and then just kind of lay it flat on the bottom here. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I mean with the moisture. So I've had it, I have not changed it. It's on high still. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this pork over to the side. There's two ways you could do this. You could take and try to get this out with a big spoon or ladle or a baster. But a lot of times what I do is I just simply, if I put all the meat to one side, it will just boil out of there. So we'll just check back in a few and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so now it is time to, we're going to brown this, but also I want to brown the onions at the same time, so we're going to put the onions in. That smells good. Nice strong white onion. Going to kind of leave that alone for a few and let that start browning. Okay, I have reduced the heat to medium, and we're going to add a little bit of onion powder and a little bit of garlic powder. I'm going to stir this around. Most of the flavor is going to come through from that kimchi, so we don't have to add a ton of spices. And I did reduce the heat to medium because I don't want it, I want to have it get a little bit browned, but I don't want to have it burned. Almost time to add the garlic. We're just going to let it brown just a little bit more. A friend of mine showed me how to make this, and she also told me that the kimchi tastes really good by itself, which I've had it by itself as like a side, on the side sort of thing. But kimchi and this kimchi pork, if you're feeling under the weather, it really helps you. I think it's the garlic maybe, or a combination of things. And it also helps prevent getting sick. And because it's fermented, it is also good for your stomach, by the way. Okay, I'm going to add the garlic. Now, I'm at the end of my garlic here, so there's a lot of garlic juice in here, so you're probably going to hear that. Just going to pour the rest of this in here. So normally it's about a tablespoon of minced garlic, and if you want to use fresh, that's even better yet. Depends how much time you have. Just with the onions and the garlic, it smells really good. So I'm just going to let this cook a little bit longer, and then we'll check back. All right, so we just put a light brown, not a heavy brown, just a light brown on here. And the garlic and the onions are all cooked. And now we're going to add the kimchi. I'm reducing the heat for a minute. I wanted to show, when I open up this kimchi, got to be careful, because sometimes it might kind of go over. So I'm just going to pour this in just the way it is. So this one is, by the way, I'm just going to mention, this is sliced kimchi. If you get the whole pieces of kimchi, it tastes very good, but if you want to do something like this, it's better if you get it pre-sliced. So I'm going to put this in here. And there's still a few big pieces, which is fine, but they're not huge pieces. Sometimes if you get a big jar, because they make them in bigger jars than this, and then you go ahead and not get the sliced one, you will find really big pieces, which is delicious, but not ideal for this sort of thing. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on a medium heat, and then I'm going to reduce it to low later. I'm just going to get it, because the kimchi came out of the refrigerator. You have to keep kimchi refrigerated. When you buy it, it is in the refrigerator section. Now, if you're getting it at the grocery store, it's at the refrigerated section. In the produce section, if you're getting it at a specialty store that has food from all over the world, you're probably going to find it in a different area. You might just have to ask. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some water to here, and then I'm going to put it back in here. I'm going to actually kind of add some water, shake it up, so I get all the residue of all this really good smelling stuff. All right, so I'm just going to put a little bit extra. I put in about this much. What I'm trying to do is just cover the top with water. So I might just put in just a hair more. And I want to mention, back to the whole kimchi thing. So the slice tastes delicious. The big pieces taste delicious, but if you're going to do a meal like this, it's just an extra step. I have gotten the whole stuff before, then all of a sudden decided, hey, I'm going to do kimchi pork, and I just had to cut it a little bit smaller. But it's all very delicious, and if you get it from the specialty stores, I find that it has a stronger flavor. All right, so I'm just going to add just a little bit more water. I'm going to just fill up some water in here, add a little bit more, and then we'll just keep on keeping an eye on it. Okay, currently I have it on a medium heat. So depending on your stove, you have to just check everything. I'm just pushing all this down so that the pork is in the juices. And then we'll have to keep a close eye on it in case we need to add more water in a little while. But I think we're okay. As I said before, we are going to serve this over some jasmine rice. So I'm just going to put a lid on it. I'm going to keep a close eye on it. And as I said, everybody's range top is different. You might have gas, electric. You might have an old-fashioned electric one. You might have an induction oven. Whatever you have, an induction range top. Whatever you have, you kind of know. But I would definitely keep a close eye on it because it is, if you're making this for the first time, you want to just make sure that it doesn't burn. That's the main thing. But this is probably going to cook for anywhere between an hour to 2 hours. I'm just going to keep a close eye on it, and then we will, as I said, we will check on it in just a few. All right, so now it's just time to be patient. The house smells absolutely wonderful, so I'm going to have a snack. Have you ever seen these at the store? They're quite delicious. I can open it up. Okay, it's open now. All right, I'm going to show you what these look like. They're really, really good. This is what I usually snack on while I'm waiting for my kimchi pork. Okay, so let's just peek in here. It's looking good. Nothing's gonna put my spoon, nothing's burning. So that's good. We got it low and slow. And it's getting closer, so I've started my rice. And as I said, I'm doing the rice in a separate video. All right, let's check it out. Looks like it's done. My rice is done. So I'm going to pull this off the heat, and we'll do the taste test. All right, well, it is time for the taste test, but it's really, really super hot. You can see it steaming. All right, so while that's cooling down, I just want to mention, for those of you who subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. And if you're new to my channel, I hope you subscribe. I started this channel because a lot of times when I was looking for a recipe or from my grandmother, my mother, no one wrote anything down. It's just I had to do it on memory, which is really difficult because most of the time the really good stuff was made when you were a tiny little kid, like my granddaughter is. And then my husband, his grandmother was an excellent cook. And sometimes we had to spend hours trying to, is that how it tasted? Is that how it tasted? So I am doing this as a legacy. Also, it's fun to have a YouTube channel, but I'm doing this mostly because it's a legacy for my granddaughter and my kids. So if they need to know how to make something, they could just go and check it out. And also I'm trying to include some tricks and tips that I've learned along the way. So I hope this cools down so we can do the taste test soon. All right, it's time for the taste test. And I want to mention that the kimchi can be also eaten as just a side dish. So it has all types of yummy things in it, as I showed you. So let's do the taste test. Okay, I got some pork here, some rice, and some of the pieces of the cabbage. Very, very good. The pork is nice and tender. This is absolutely delicious. You can taste the garlic and the cabbage, the radishes, all the yummy things in here. This is a fermented food, so it's really good for you. It's delicious. And all the taste of that kimchi, one of the reasons to cook it, it took about an hour, hour and 15 minutes, is it marinates into the pork. So now the pork tastes like the kimchi. It's absolutely delicious. It's got red chili in it, but it's not too spicy at all. As you see, I could eat it. I didn't have to go run for water. Lots and lots of flavor. The flavor profile is excellent, served over jasmine rice. And as I said before, that's going to be on a separate video. So I hope you enjoyed this video. For those of you who subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. And if you don't, I hope that you do. Thanks for watching.